give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Welcome back to Wind Tunnel TV. It's the Kickin Assphalt Xfinity series here live from Charlotte Motor Speedway tonight. These guys have been putting on good shows, good competition up front. I'm Dean Doucette. In the booth with me, Mr. Jared Carr. Jared, these guys highly competitive here. They take on another mile and a halfer here at Charlotte.
Yeah, Dean, we are at Charlotte Motor Speedway a week after racing Texas. So we've gotten through that gauntlet that we had where we had short tracks, we had Darlington, we had Dover, those type of tracks. Now we're on to those traditional 1.5 milers. And this is, where we look at the season. This is kind of your bulk of your season, usually in most leagues. And Dean, this is where we're going to separate the haves and the have-nots, the championship contenders from the guys that aren't going to be able to make it there.
Yeah, and, speaking of those haves and have-nots, JD Motorsports, looking at our points, still top four, but Michael Newbrough slipped down to seventh. Now Crownover, with his second win, slips into fifth. Paul, with his consistency, up to sixth. We know we got some Paul fans out there. Points-wise, he's having a great year. David E. Brown's in there. Covington, Bizzle in the top 10. Kid Street's looking from the outside in, as is Leighton and Hannah. We're going to look in on our... Sorry, go ahead, Jared.
No, Dean, I was just looking at these qualifying times, and Dustin Covington just threw down a gauntlet, barely squeezing out Eric Schaefer there. So very quick times out here at Charlotte tonight.
And Covington been good here at different times in the season as well, so seeing him on the pole will be something. We looking at our keys to the race, Jared. Tires, pitting, strategy. Almost never change them because, they're just so big. I mean, pitting... I can't tell you how important it is after the constant mistakes I make myself on pit road, Jared, and they go hand in hand with strategy.
Oh, I have never made one mistake on pit road, Dean. I've been perfect my entire life, so I can't relate. But pit road is such a overlooked and underlooked thing, all at once, right? It's some people practice it, but don't practice it getting off pit road. Some people don't practice it at all. Some people, practice it and they do really good at it. We've broadcasted some guys, Dean, in the past that, you could guarantee they were going to pick up some time on pit road. One of those guys in this league, you look at Eric Schaefer, one of the best pit lane times this season on average. He is really good, as is Dustin Covington, those two guys at the front. But, also a guy that, I'm looking at right now, Jason Hughes. He was the fastest guy on pit road last week, too. So you can't count out anybody in this field. And, Dean, that's going to be the crucial part if we have a long green flag run.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with that. Of course, these guys running 70% fuel here. Going to have to pit a couple of times. I believe, Jared, they got 5 sets of tires in the garage. Not too sure, but that shouldn't be a huge concern. More tire wear than it is how many sets you have is going to be the concern.
Well, you got to also remember, too, Dean, with this league is 70% fuel. So, you're thinking, I'm going to have to pit sooner. That's right. But it also, what does fuel have? It's a liquid, so it weighs the back of the car down. So if you don't have that weight in the back end, and that weight's not in the car, period, the car is going to run lighter, which means you're actually going to get a little bit more chance to kind of, spin those rear tires a little bit much. And so tire wear can come into a factor with this low fuel window. And Charlotte is notoriously difficult on tires, Dean.
Well, Jared, when you talk about this lighter fuel load, the assumption out there, generally speaking, is it tends to tighten up the car. But with the increased speed that you may get out of it, can that kind of balance that out?
Well, so it's a twofold thing. In general, yeah, you're going to get tighter as the run goes on. But at the beginning of the run, that thing could be super loose because you just don't have that weight in the vehicle that's kind of like balancing the car out. Because, these guys, you can counteract that. This isn't a fixed setup series by any means. But, you start taking weight out of the car, you're going to have to move some ballast for it. You're going to have to drop the rear end, something to to kind of make up for that fuel, or raise the rear end, I should say, something to make up for that fuel not being there. Otherwise, you could have a car that's out of balance and could make your night really difficult.
All right. Well, one guy looking to make his night a little easier. That's Dustin Covington on the pole here tonight, the number 88, with a time of 30:1:13. Eric Schaefer always up here fighting near the front. The 01 will start on the outside of row number 1. Brandon Banks starts in third. He's your points leader on the series. Jesse Priest in the 04 will be starting in fourth. It's Hannah and Kinsey in row number 3, Newbraw and Bizzle in row 4, Hughes and Gibson in row number 5.
Yeah, we look back at these other guys here. Row 6, Anthony Crownover, who won last week in a really crazy finish there at Texas, and Wesley Holland, who had a great run going, ended up finishing third. David E. Brown and John Leger in row 7. Chad Bessinger and Darren Paul, one of our most popular drivers out here in 16th. And lining up shotgun on the field tonight will be the number 19 of Nicholas Lamb.
Yeah, Lamb's still on pit road. Hopefully he makes it out here. Not sure about what's happening with him. When we look at a guy like Darren Paul, though, we see him start towards the back and right around there at the beginning of these races, not doing anything too extraordinary, Jared, but he sits 6th in points. What does that say about the consistency and the ability to keep that car clean for Darren Paul?
Well, Darren's very good, Dean, at keeping that car clean, staying out of trouble. He has been caught up in stuff that isn't his fault. But that is going to get him so many positions. He's been able to take some top 10 finishes this year and take him into top 5. So, I mean, you got to stay clean. First, in order to finish, you must first finish. So, he is definitely getting that part now.
All right, Schaefer and Covington. Covington up here on the pole tonight. They're going to battle hard here, and imagine heading down into 1. We're getting ready to go green as the pace car pulls off the track.
Green flag, green flag.
Solid job by Schaefer there, staying with Covington on the start. We'll see how corner 1, usually favoring the inside. Banks and Priest in row number 2.
Yeah, Dean, looking back at this field, I mean, we are 2 breaths back here. Ooh, Bobby Gibson up high. Wesley Holland got underneath them, almost in contact there as Gibson got a little bit loose. But up front, no surprise, Covington holding off Schaefer, and Schaefer trying to make a move here, but can't quite get it there. Or sorry, that's Jesse Priest trying to make a move on his teammate, Brandon Banks.
You see Brian Bizzle coming underneath Kinsey. And Schaefer, what's happened to Schaefer? Schaefer has dropped, I believe.
Yes, he has, Dean. I don't see him on the track. Yeah, he's dropped. Connection is gone for Eric Schaefer.
Wow, and Covington left all alone on the track now. Eric Schaefer, a contender at any track, has disconnected somehow from this server. Bad luck for the 01 machine. That puts Banks up to 2nd. Priest right there with them. It's Hannah battling with Bizzle. Bizzle now has Kinsey coming back along with Crownover making a march up here. These guys battling hard.
Guys back here toward the back of the pack. There's Cody Kinsey with Crownover underneath of him, and we got right behind him, that's Crownover, apologies, and they're all kind of getting single file, but Crownover still kind of showing that nose on Kinsey heading into 3.
Yeah, Kinsey looks like a little slow off the hop here tonight, but he could be planning for a long run. Lots of different strategies out here for sure. Crownover, though, this man always going to the front. He's already up 5 spots on the night.
Well, Dean, you heard it last week. I mean, he took what we were saying to heart, right? I mean, we were talking about that, and, he was talking about, how we talk about him not being able to save tires, and he, sat down and tried to work on it a little bit, and, man, he really came through last week with that tire saving.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he's no slouch. 2 wins on the season. No slam on the 18, he's always moving forward. So, the speculation from the booth, Jared, we're not always accurate, but if some of our comments motivate people, heck, that's about the best thing we could ever ask for.
Yeah, I mean, we get that a lot, Dean. We should be motivational people.
Well, I mean, I've motivated a few people to be angry with me, too, so I'm not too sure, but... Crownover continuing to look good here in front of him. Bizzle working on Hannah. Hannah off to a good start tonight in that 54 machine. Here comes Bizzle to the inside.
These guys back here, Dean, they're battling hard. Bizzle, Crownover, they're kind of lined up here back toward the back. And now they're going to get single file again. We got a couple drivers dropping off the back. A little bit of a battle back here. Darren Paw battling with Chad Bessinger. That is a battle for 15th, but and Bessinger's going to get around it. But otherwise, single file throughout the field is everybody kind of starting to get this thing filled out. But Dean, I mean, what a tough break for Eric Schaefer. He has returned to the server, but he is going to be, it looks like right now, 5 laps down.
Oh, been there, Jared. It was once in a race, same exact thing, about 5 laps down. Believe it or not, got on the lead lap for a green-white checker only to get wrecked.
I had that same thing happen, Dean. So, you know, it's part of racing, right, at the end of the day. But a tough break for Eric Schaefer, who is pulling out of pits, looks like right now. But you look at Covington, what a job he's doing, Dean. I mean, that guy has got something figured out over the last few weeks and really showing his moxie. And you look back through the rest of this pack, Bizzle and Crownover, they did get around Hannah. Now Wesley Holland starting to move forward, Dean, around Cody Kinsey. Jason Hughes looking underneath as well.
Yeah, Hughes looking strong here, trying to make a push. Not a lot of room there. Doors closed, but you're right about Holland. Don't sleep on the one car. Multiple race winner here in the series. The one's always dangerous, and you know, he's always shows well on the long run. Another guy, Newbra. Newbra wasn't here last week, I don't believe. Really known for his long run ability. We'll see what he can do here as he's currently down 4 spots. It's kind of what he does, Jared. Lets him go early, gets him later.
Yeah, exactly right, Dean, as he continues to kind of battle out there. And, you know, you look at these guys, you know, everybody's running all over the track. Hughes up against the wall. You know, Holland getting a little bit loose there. But this kind of pack all the way up into John Legger, 12 cars, haven't really separated from 2nd to 12th. But Dustin Covington continued to pull ahead. As you see, Banks and Prize nearly kind of come together there by accident.
Yeah, teammates there. I'm sure they didn't mean to do that. Dustin Covington, your leader here in the Real Tree machine, looking good. The 88, man, he's going to be dangerous out front. But I got to tell you, Brandon Banks, our points leader, along with Jesse Priest, these guys running him down. So currently about a 0.9 second lead for our leader, but it's coming down.
It is coming down, Dean. I was looking at that last time by, but you know, Charlotte is not a track that I've had a lot of fun racing, but it is fun to watch races here. As we got Crownover looking underneath Bizzle, that's a battle for 4th position here. You can really run all over this track. The B car especially, which is the best car on the service by a large margin in my opinion. You can run all over this track in the B car. Makes the races really good, makes the races really clean, especially if you have some patient, consistent drivers like Kickin Assphalt.
Yeah, absolutely. And these guys they got some talent here in the top, well, really throughout the lineup. So good job on them. And Crownover does make that move. So he's up 7 spots. I mean, Anthony Crownover on a roll lately, continuing. And you see him hugging the bottom there, Jared. Now, what's that going to do to your car running that bottom line as this run goes along?
So, you know, if you're loose, you run the bottom, that's going to transfer the weight to the right front significantly quicker, put more heat in the right front. That means you're going to tighten up a loose condition. But if you're tight and you do that same line, you're just going to get tighter and tighter and tighter as the run goes on. But, you know, at the same time, you know, if you are loose at the beginning of the run, which is the way that I kind of set the cars up nowadays, Dean, you tighten these things up. That way, or loosen these things up. That way you can kind of do what Crownover's doing, hug the bottom, and then as you start to tighten up as this run goes on, you can move around the track a lot easier. And you're already seeing guys like Holland and company moving up as we got a battle for the lead already, Dean.
Brandon Banks has run down our race leader, and he's brought Jesse Priest with him. These two coming forward. You can see the run there from the 4 machine. So much better off the corner.
Yeah, and he is doing a great job right now. And looking underneath Covington into 1. Can't quite get there. Washes up the track a little bit. Got in there too deep, Dean.
Yeah, a little dangerous there. You don't see that often from the number 4 of Brandon Banks, but Covington on the high line holding him off. Now we talk about you can kind of multi-groove race around here. Passing though, as these tires wear out, gets more and more difficult to pass on that bottom line.
Yeah, at 3 and 4, 3 and 4 is a narrow turn. The banking, is the same, but the way it's built. So basically, you look at it, the way you kind of lay asphalt, right? You can lay it from the top down or the bottom up, and they're two different ways. And Charlotte and Atlanta, even though the current Atlanta have the same banking, the way the asphalt's laid is totally different. Well, turn 3 and 4 laid a lot more like you would see at Texas, a lot more like you'd see at some of those other tracks like that. Las Vegas comes to mind. And turn 1 and 2 kind of laid a little bit differently like you'd see in Atlanta. So it makes it a little bit difficult to pass on the high side there as Covington's going to go back to the high side. And Banks is just a little bit too loose to be underneath of him right now, Dean.
Yeah, he just can't get that run. And actually, Priest is, I think, backing out or at least staying smooth to avoid getting near his teammate there or hitting him. So Banks having a hard time making the pass. And, he might give up here for a couple laps. I wouldn't blame him for doing that, but he's so good out of 4, Jared. He just keeps coming right back to that bumper.
What I'm concerned about is Covington was out to a 2-3 second lead, as was Banks, as was Priest. But if you look behind them, Dean, we got Crownover and Cody Kinsey who are battling. They are catching this group. We're going to have 5 cars racing here for the lead here in a second.
Yeah,
They're all kind of accordion back up.
It's what you love to see. These guys battling so hard as their battle for the lead continues. Crownover still rocking that high side. I think it's helping him a bit, but Priest gets a good run off this time. Banks gets a good run off. It looks like he's going to get him down into 1 here.
Covington needs to roll this high side, and he's going to do that. And here it is. Oh, Banks, that's a slide job right there.
Wow, that's probably an unintentional slide job by Banks, but he gets it done. Kinsey right in the mix. We got a 4-way battle. Covington throws it down low, looking to return the favor.
Yeah, and Covington's going to slide down there, but this is hard to keep it on the bottom, Dean, like you talked about. And Jesse Priest is going to sneak his way to the outside. 1, 2, and 4 are JD Motorsports drivers right now, Dean. They are overrunning the top right now as Covington dives in deep.
Yeah, it was a good entry there by the 88, but that high side rocking pretty good. They're going to get a big run off. Priest going to take him. Kinsey looking to fill that spot, and I think he's going to.
Dean, I'm circling Anthony Crownover. I was listening on board with him, watching this battle, Dean, and he is not using the throttle very much. He's just letting this thing settle out, seeing where the dust is going to land, and going to pick his way through here, I think, in the next 5 to 10 laps.
Wow, Crownover, love it. Thinking out this race. It's great to hear. The 18 been so good. He's up 6 spots on the night. Banks, your new race leader. He is your points leader. Jesse Priest second. Cody Kinsey in third. Covington fourth. Crownover. It's Holland now clearing this group. Holland setting chase on him. Watch out for him. He's up 6 spots as well. Bizzle, Newbraw back on the move. If you remember, he was down 4 spots.
Newbraw's almost wrecked it, Dean.
Almost wrecked it. A great job of saving that machine. I was just going to say how conservative he is. Trying to get, and he's in the wall a little bit out of shape. The 6 machine going to be all right here as Mark Hanna comes on by. So he's got to regroup, refocus, but the 6 was doing a good job. That's going to really hurt him. Priest to the lead. As we're talking about that, he takes the lead away from his teammate Brandon Banks. So Jesse Priest, your new race leader.
What a job by Jesse Priest. Apologies. He is getting it done. He has not yet won yet this year, Dean, and he is leading some of his first laps since all the way back in November.
Wow, that's amazing, because I remember back then in one of the first races we had, he was out here looking so dominant and everything, and now it looks like he's returned to something a little more favorable to what he likes, his 1.5 miles here at Charlotte. This tick-tock machine out front and looking good. Banks and Kinsey right there with him, though.
Yeah, Dean, you're talking about that race at Auto Club Speedway. Second race of the year. He led 23 laps, ended up losing to David Lamb. But since then, Dean, he has led a grand total of 11 laps, including just 2 at Talladega, 1 at Richmond under caution, and 8 at Atlanta. during green flag pit stops. So Jesse Prees getting it done. Glad to see him return to form, Dean. And we know he's got some talent and, confidence getting out front ahead of his teammate Brandon Banks.
Look back at Newbrough starting to come around Hannah again. He's got to rework that after getting loose. Right behind him, it's David E. Brown. He's got a big run looking to fill this spot up.
These guys kind of just looking back here, trying to figure out probably what their strategy is for this race. David E. Brown right now up just 3 spots. Mark Hanna there, Michael Newbrough there, who's kind of dropped back to these guys a little bit. Mark Hanna started up front. He's qualified great all year, Dean, but just hasn't had that pace that he's looking for as the season goes on. But looking back up front a little bit, Wesley Holland has now caught this top 5 group, and now we've got 6 cars kind of in a lead group here.
Yeah, this lead group here all tightened up. I mean, at least, fairly tight. Pre's still out there, got a decent little lead. He's coming up on some lap traffic here, Jared. How is this going to influence you dealing with lap traffic here at Charlotte Motor Speedway?
Well, it's tough. I mean, this is not an easy track to kind of get around on, period. Now, he is going to have, looks like, not sure. So it's Darren Paul. So he's about 16 seconds. And then we got Eric Schaefer, who's 6 laps down. And Schaefer, he's not really going to cause an issue with his teammates. So it's probably going to be pretty easy, as Darren Paul looks like he might be heading to pit road.
Yeah, I might have had some bad visual on the lap cars there, or maybe it was Paul, I'm not sure. Darren Paul coming down pit lane. But Pre's still out front, doing an excellent job. I mean, very impressed with him tonight. And how about Cody Kinsey, up 4 spots. He's been very strong here this evening.
Yes, he has. Dean doing a great job here tonight in that number 15 machine. And he is up to 2nd place, Dean. Remember, he has the race win on the year back in Phoenix. And, he's really kind of going up and down as the season's gone on. But right now, he has definitely got that thing tuned in.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He come to play here tonight. Banks in 3rd, Covington in 4th, and Holland all over him now as the 1 car continues to march forward, up 7 spots on the evening. You see him swing it up to the high line there. The 1 going to get that big run off the corner. Where's he going to put that car, though?
Well, that's his teammate, so his teammate's not going to, I don't think, box him in too much, but Holland has been skirting the high side right against the wall in 1 and 2 and pretty high in 3 and 4. He's going to complete that pass, Dean.
Well, it looks like, he might have that loose setup you're talking about, trying to run that high side or tight setup and trying to run that high side and loosen her up a little bit. Hard to say for certain.
Wesley Holland, he is the highest on the track. He is really, really running that Larson line that Kyle Larson used to run so much.
Let's check in with some of our other competitors. You see Bizzle back here in 7th place. He's up 1 spot on the evening. There's David E. Brown up 5 spots. He's gotten around Newbrough. Newbrough coming back on him right now. He's in 9th. Mark Hanna in 10th, and both of them getting a little loose there, or a couple of cars getting a little loose. It's Legger here in the number 22. He's up 3. Bessinger's up 3. Jason Hughes, that's going to wrap up our lead lap cars. Paul, Schaefer, and Gibson, and Lamb not making the event here tonight.
Yeah, Gibson on pit road with damage, and Darren Paul has actually taken his car to the garage. He is out of the race tonight.
And Jared, we have missed a pass for the lead. Of course I did. We're going to get a replay on this right now as Cody Kinsey has taken over the race lead. Here we go, heading down into corner number 3. Little bit of a run from the 15, nothing too major. Wow, way better on entry there. Pre's up the track, and Pre's just lets him go, really. So Kinsey just takes that spot rather easily.
An easy pass for Cody Kinsey, and he's really got that car dialed in. Dean, and Cody Kinsey, this is the type of track that he's done really well on this year, Dean.
Yeah, he's loving it, and it looks like he's doing everything correct as Holland continues his march forward. Now going by Brandon Banks, put Holland up to 3rd. So Holland's marching towards the front. And Jared, we're getting close to pit time here on these 70% fuel.
Yeah, we are, Dean. I mean, we're on lap 33. Normally we're talking like lap 45 with a full tank. So 70%. I think, sometime between 35 and 40, we're going to start seeing guys get on pit road as we got a big battle for third place back here. Holland got loose. Banks looking underneath there, and Covington in that group as well.
Yeah, Holland perhaps got to move down the track and listen. Maybe he's got to listen to the broadcast, Jared. You were giving some tips on how to tighten up that car. Maybe he's got to ride that low line for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that'll tighten your car up around the low line. Basically, I mean, you can tighten it up and loosen up with every line you want to run, really, Dean, and you know that very well. I mean, that's something we've talked about a long time ago. So, you can drive it in deep and get it tighter, if you can let off early, and if you want to make it a little bit looser. So these guys back here just trying to figure out what this car is going to do. And they're also probably looking at what kind of adjustments, Dean, maybe add some perch, maybe add some tape, something, to help these cars out.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, someone you don't often see fade later on in the run. That's our points leader, Brandon Banks, fading here, now down 2 spots on the night. More than that, because he was race leader just moments ago, and now he's down to 5th place. So the 4 machine uncharacteristically fading, and he could probably use an adjustment in the garage.
Well, Dean, let me ask you this. You think, Brandon Banks, I know, speaking from experience, when you kind of get out of your element, like if you sit there and, normally you're a guy that kind of comes on strong and you qualify well, and all of a sudden you're leading, does that have a tendency to maybe push the car a little bit too much, maybe, because he's not used to kind of being up front?
Well,
at that point, at the race,
I mean, I don't know if that would I'll tell you this, when you get into race mode and you're going unexpectedly, maybe you think you're taking it easy and you're headed towards the front, you might drive a little bit more than you think you are. I mean, I've done it several times. I mean, your track position sometimes can dictate how you're driving these vehicles, and I think you hit it on the head. Like, I think Banks kind of got out of his element getting up there too fast. I mean, he's usually the type of guy who's pursuing the lead at this point in the race, and he just got up there a little too quick, probably.
Dean, I believe I might have got it cut off, but I think David E. Brown headed to pit road.
David E. Brown coming in here as pit stops begin. He is the first in here on lap 38 of 125. This seems a little premature. I think you're going to want to go to 41, 42 anyway, Jared.
Yeah, I think it's close. I mean, I think it's close. I mean, we're talking, Dean, this race tonight is 125 laps. So you're coming in now. Oof, that's, that you're talking right on the fringes of a 3-stop strategy.
Yeah, and we talked about this in previous races. Now, if you're going to do a 3-stop strategy, why would you come in on lap 39? You should have come in maybe on like 31 or something like that. But nonetheless, I mean, all we do is speculate up here and then find out later why we're wrong. But nonetheless, Legger down on pit road as well. Kinsey continuing to ride. It's Priest in second, Hall in third. Here comes Covington, still looking really strong. He's rolling right back up on that one. So Covington moving forward. He was your pole sitter, fell back, now moving forward. Kind of an interesting race from the 88 so far, Jared.
Dean, you're talking about speculating. I mean, my professor in college, Dean, he used to say, when you make a bunch of guesses, you're just trying to figure out what doesn't work, and that's what we do.
I love it. I'm going to have to write that one down. Love your professor.
But, yeah, Covington's coming in right now, Dean.
Yeah, the 88 peeling off. Pretty strong entrance there.
And Crownover's following him.
Yeah, Crownover right there. He might have made up a little ground. Hard to say. Here comes Hannah. And Hannah's a little loose, but I think he's okay. Bessinger in as well. So everybody coming in.
Yeah.
Now that's the minimum in my books, lap 41. I think you want to go at least to this lap, so we'll see if Kinsey decides to come in. Looks like he is.
Yeah, this is where you kind of start getting in these strategies, and now Jesse Prize is coming in, Holland's coming in, Banks is coming in. They're all just going to follow each other in right now. That's going to leave Brian Bizzle. He's going to come in. Michael Newbrow is going to come in. Is Jason Hughes going to come in?
Well, Jared,
yes, he is.
I have to wonder, is this fuel mileage? Like, were they running out of gas? Is this why they're all coming in? Because you know how I feel about playing follow the leader.
Yeah, I would say this has got to be right on the edge of their lap. I mean, this is very close. But especially like, if I'm second place, I don't want to come in the same lap as the leader. Number one, I just don't want to, especially if it's my teammate, I don't want to run him over by accident or something. So, or, kind of play that strategy game, undercut, overcut, something like that. But Kinsey down away, so is Prize.
There's Schaefer as Covington squeaks in front of Schaefer. Poor Schaefer had connection issue. He's up to 14th from the back of the field, but several laps down.
He's going to need a miracle of about 7 cautions to get himself back in the contention. But, Dean, that's going to flip the whole thing over. Cody Kinsey, now your race leader. But don't look now. David E. Brown, with that undercut, Dean, he is battling for 5th position. He's going to let Covington go.
I would be hard-pressed to call that a battle, but a great job with the early pit stop. He's up 8 spots. We'll see as this run goes along how that plays out. I mean, from what I've seen out of those leaders, I got to think they were all on the verge of fuel. I just don't think David E. Brown can make it. He's on a 3-stopper, which, again, you'd say, why did he go to 39? But the bright side, he could have much shorter runs going forward now, Jared.
Yeah, I'm even a little bit more concerned about David E. Brown, seeing everybody literally pit at lap 40 right after, a couple laps after he did. So, I mean, sounded like they had to stretch it, listen to radio communications. So, Dean, I think that this is going to be tough for David E. Brown, but we, like we said, we're just making educated guesses up here, and they might turn out wrong.
Absolutely. Might, probably will. I mean, I always like to think I'm always right, but, I'm always right when I say it. It just, because you prove me wrong later, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. See, we know what we're talking about, Dean.
Well, we know. I don't know if anybody else can understand. Banks back to 6th, Crownover 7th, Legger 8th, Bizzle back in 9th, Passenger rounds out your top 10. Newbra back here struggling a little bit in 11th. And he was moving forward, but so far that one loose incident kind of really hurt him. We'll see if he can get it back. Right now it's Cody Kinsey putting on a show out here, but Priest right there with him.
Yeah, Dean, Cody Kinsey, his win was at Talladega. He actually led a lot of laps at Phoenix, but ended up not winning that race, got involved in a late race wreck. But, he has been so solid this year. Over the last few weeks. I mean, led 12 laps at Talladega to win, led 6 laps at Dover, finished 2nd at Darlington, finished 6th last week, and now he's leading here tonight at Texas. This is a guy that's just continuing to kind of get better and better and better as the season's gone on. And, that team's good, and so the resources are there, and I think he's, starting to take it to heart a little bit, Dean.
I think you're right. Priest was so good in the early stages of the first run. He's showing it again as he is closing in on Kinsey. And you got to think, who's burning their stuff up and who isn't? And is fuel mileage a concern? Now, they pitted. Let's look on our pit board. I believe on lap 41, coming to 42. So they're on the edge here, Jared. I mean, is there a cat and mouse on fuel here somewhere? Is there someone out there a little bit wiser and saving a little bit more here early on?
Yeah, because with those guys pitting on lap 41, that means their next pit stop is going to be like 82, 81, somewhere in that range. And then our next pit stop is going to be 122, right? So we're looking at, right at the end of this race. And Charlotte does this in real life, Dean. Comes to being a fuel strategy race, and I've got to circle some of these guys back here. Michael Newbra, a driver that was running up front and kind of started to drift back a little bit. And I wonder, maybe he started to save some as this handling went away. Maybe tried to, just kind of play a strategy game here.
Yeah, it's a good call. I mean, I would say Newbra is that kind of driver. He will think about these things. He will go for these strategy calls. And from what I've seen up front, Priest went by Kinsey, like he was standing still, quite honestly. So I think Priest pushing that car a little harder than Kinsey's willing to at this point. Not only fuel mileage concerns, but long run ability concerns here. So Kinsey seemingly playing a very smart race here, thinking it through, Jared, saving that car, perhaps, saving just a tick of fuel as well.
Yeah, Cody Kinsey's doing a great job right now, Dean. And, Jesse Priest now taking over that lead So maybe, there is some of that what you're talking about, a little bit of field strategy. I was looking at the lap history, and just, they're running very consistent laps, but a little bit slower than they were at the beginning.
Let's look in on the time delta first of all. Not much going on there. I mean, the switch up was where it really became big, but now really kind of mirroring each other here. We look back to Holland. Holland slowly kind of gaining on Kinsey, but he lost a little last lap. At Covington to Holland, it looks like Holland walking away a bit from Dustin Covington. And Crownover back here. Crownover is actually, let's look at Covington to Crownover. Not much going on there. It looks like Crownover is closing in, and he is up 6 spots on the night.
Yeah, Dean, these guys continuing to kind of, battle a little bit here. But, I'm kind of circling some of these guys toward the back. I mean, what about Brandon Banks? I mean, did not have a good pit stop, Dean. I mean, a very slow pit stop getting on pit road. Good pit lane time, but, really at the end of the day, I mean, he is now down to 6th position.
Yeah, he's struggling a little bit. I mean, by his standards, used to running in the top 3, winning here and there. And the 4 machine, definitely the points leader. You got to think, though, he's thought it through, and he's doing something that's right for his car here currently. I mean, the first run looked like he burned him up a bit and faded. Is he saving a bit? Did he make some adjustments? Maybe they're not working as well, Jared.
Yeah, and that's going to be the key, right? I mean, I think when we talk about everything going on in these races, I mean, that is the crucial thing, is trying to find the balance as the run goes on. This is a long race. 125 laps is not a walk in the park by any means. So going to be interesting to see. Maybe he's waiting on some changes to kind of come in. We'll find out soon enough, I'm sure.
Absolutely. As we're in the dog days of this race, so to speak. And, it's seemingly the interest level drops a little bit, but I love this part of the race, Jared. This is where everybody's got to think and manipulate the strategy, think about their long run ability, think about their fuel, and get all set up for that last run. And dare I say it could all be thrown out the window with the caution.
Well, Dina, I know you're a boxing guy, and I know a lot of casual guys, that watch UFC or boxing or whatever. They're excited for the fight to begin, and they're excited for that last round, or the last round it gets to. But I like those middle rounds where you're just trying to get some points, trying to wear out your opponent. And right now, Dean, we're kind of in those middle rounds where these guys are just kind of throwing a little blow here, a little blow there, trying to get some points on the board, or whatever you want to call it, and try to figure out what their car is doing, setting it up for the next round coming up, and which is only going to be in about 20 laps.
Yeah, it's a great analogy, really, because those middle rounds, not only can you pick up, maybe 1 or 2 extra rounds over your opponent, but, you truly are setting up for that victory. Ooh, and Kinsey into the wall a little bit, so Kinsey grabbing a little bit of damage there. We'll see if that affects him. But you're right, you set it up for the end, and you see the difference. Some guys just waiting out others to hit that knockout punch later on, And sometimes, you kind of rope-a-dope yourself. It doesn't work, and you just die on the track. So we'll see how it plays out here, but always love a good boxing reference, a nice pull-up from Mr. Carr.
Yeah, I try what I can, but Dean, looking at the rest of this field, I got to give a shout-out right now, my driver of the race so far, John Legger, back here in the 22 machine. He's up 6 positions, battling side by side with David E. Browns. They both go sideways off of turn number 4, kind of synchronized sideways. But he has continued to move up. He is up 7 positions at the line, Dean, the biggest mover of the race. Good job. We don't get a chance to talk about John Legger too much, but he has improved as the weeks have gone on, Dean, and he is really showing some talent behind that number 22 machine.
Yeah, Legger looking good here tonight, up to 7th place. The 22 machine, the auto parts, Car Quest car, I love it. He's doing an excellent job here tonight.
Yeah, one of his best runs of the year. So, I mean, really just amazing job by John Legger. Teammates to Darren Paul there in the 12 machine. I mean, they're running the Penske colors. That's Austin Cindric paint job that he ran a couple times last year. Looking at, up into this race, Dean, I mean, John Legger has only finished in the top 10 twice. and one of those was at Talladega, and the other one was in Darlington 2 weeks ago. So he has really started to come on. But his first 5 races, Dean, he didn't finish better than 15th. Last 5 races, he has finished no worse than 14th. So John Legger getting it done, as he might have had an internet issue.
And Legger's dropped. I mean, did we curse him? And he's back, I think. He's flashing. I'm not sure if he's going to make it, Jared. It looks like he's going to drop.
Yeah, that's tough. As when that was going on, Dean, Cody Kinsey back to the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. We missed both of Cody Kinsey's passes for the lead at different runs. Let's get a look in on this one under replay. Cody Kinsey coming to start-finish line. A little bit of a run. Nope, it looks pretty standard here. Priest, again, up the track. Kinsey hugging the bottom, much like the last time. Looked like Priest just kind of let him go, saying, hey, you're a little better on the long run. I'll live to fight another day.
Yeah, good job by those two teammates. I think they're, Dean, going back to that boxing thing, I think they're just kind of feeling each other out. I mean, they are teammates. No need to really press each other at this point in the race. There's still a lot of laps to go. But at the same time, Dean, I'm sure you would do it. I know I would. I would start trying to figure out what my teammate's weakness is around this point in the race. Trying to make a mental notebook to figure out what I can do as this run goes on, because, we got a lot of racing still left. Jesse Priest has not won yet this year. Cody Kinsey hasn't won on a non-restrictor plate race track yet this year. Both of these guys hungry to kind of show what they got.
Well, let me put a question to you then, Jared. So if you're Priest, and you've seen now your strength, you're obviously short run, you're faster, you get out there, you get the lead. Kinsey keeps coming on the long run. Now, when I think about trying to switch to do a long run, the other guy's already proven he can do it. Is it something I want to try late in the race, or is it, let's just go with what I'm doing best and maybe even go out harder this time, try and get an even bigger lead?
Oh, God, he just almost hit his teammate, Dean, in turn 1.
Speak about going harder. He drove in there deep, got underneath him. He's going to take the lead. Kinsey giving it to him there out of fear, maybe. I'm not sure. Priest a little too much on entry there, driving way up the track.
Yeah, Dean, I got distracted by what was going on there. I thought we were going to have a wreck for the lead there. But I think Jesse Prize is, I think he showed what he wants to do. I think he's like, I'm done riding around. We got a pit here in, just a handful of laps, about 16 or so. I'm going to go back to the front. And at the same time, he's probably looking in the mirror and seeing Wesley Holland start to kind of creep back in the fray.
Do not sleep on that one machine. Been consistently crawling up here towards the front all race long, up 9 spots on the night. Maybe the fastest car on the track. We're only halfway in this race. This could be Wesley Holland's race, but Priest up front. It's the 15 of Kinsey, regrouping now. Think he's a little faster, but I'm not sure what happened to bring those guys so close together. And Priest took advantage and got the lead. But back to that question, Jared, if you could remember it even, I don't know, would you go out harder next run if you're a Priest, or try to do what Kinsey's doing and maybe get bested by someone who's already doing that kind of tactic?
I think, I think it's difficult, right? I think you have to stick to what you know. If you change something up and you're not comfortable or you're not experienced doing the change, you could be even worse off and you could shoot yourself in the foot. So I think Jesse Priest needs to stick with what he's doing and not get in his head and not worry about the other cars on the track. Just drive your race, figure out your line, and let things come to you. You clearly got a good car, but your teammate's going to race you one way. But that one car, Wesley Holland, who's now under half a second at the line, he might race you totally different. You don't want him coming back in the mix like he already is.
Yeah, he's there. I mean, the 15 is right in there. Oh, that's Kinsey. Sorry, I thought it was a lap car. We're on board with Wesley Holland here. So that's Kinsey right in front of him. My goodness. Wesley Holland's already there. He's looking like he's going to come up here and take this away from both of them.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. Wesley Holland, long run machine. And he's coming. Oh, he's loose off the corner.
Almost into the wall, Jared, as we were on board there.
and he's coming into a good stretch of tracks for him. I mean, and you see Kinsey going to the lead right now, or trying to, and that's just going to let Wesley Holland just kind of inch closer and closer. And this is something that, you know, I get it, right? But as teammates, I feel like you got to work something out when you got a third party involved here, and not battle each other, right?
I think that's maybe what you just saw, Jared.
Yeah, you might be right. We speculate, Dean. We speculate.
We speculate. So Cody Kinsey back up front, been solid. The big threat seems to be Holland back in third. Pre's been awfully good. Don't count him out by any means. Let's look in on Covington. Now Covington's about 3.6 seconds back, and he's got Banks with him. Banks looking much better here. He's moved his way back into fifth and right on the back of Covington, Jared.
Yeah, he is. Banks looking really racy right now. Kind of just moving in that middle line and you know, kind of arcing down a little bit untraditional. And Holland is all over the back of Jesse Preece. Gave him a bump going across the line and kind of changed that up. And Holland looking racy, to say the least.
Well, is this a case, Jared, of, you know, a guy, you know, perceived or real? You might think a teammate might be running a little interference here.
You know, I don't know. I mean, you know, I think at this point in the race, I don't think that there's any reason to run interference. But you also have the 7 car that's teammates with Wesley Holland. I mean, what's he doing, right? I mean, you know, so you got a lot of different variables kind of coming up in here at this point in time, because Holland's not really, or sorry, apologies, Hughes, Jason Hughes in the 7, he does pull out of the way to get out for those guys. But, you know, everybody's kind of got something in their mind. I mean, I think the Preece isn't going to let Holland go very easily. He's going to get a run here into 3, but just can't quite get there.
Yeah, we stay with this battle. We took a little peek in on Banks and Covington. Pretty status quo right there. Holland getting big runs, but he's a little loose. He shoots the underside here. A great drive through. Looks like he's going to clear him down into 1.
Wesley Holland, is he going to clear him?
I'm not sure.
Gets a little bit of a run, but just can't quite hold it there. Holland's got a little bit more grip on the exit right now. Preece is going to have to drop and settle to 3rd. But this is not good for the competition, because Holland, you know, if he can sneak a win out here, Dean, he is the favorite for next week at Mid-Ohio, and in 2 weeks or 3 weeks at Road America. So a couple of road courses coming up, and Wesley Holland could be at the top of the step of the podium for the next 3 of the 5 races.
He very well could be. I mean, we've seen what he did on the road course. I don't think he thinks of himself as a road course driver, but as far as the league goes, he's the top man out here. There was it David E. Brown who had a great race?
Yes.
Yeah, Brown as well on the road course looks good. So we'll watch those two come into those 2 road courses. But right now, Kinsey trying to hold off the aforementioned Wesley Holland as he continues to pursue the lead here on lap 75 of 125. We're not that far away from pit stops, about another 5 laps, maybe 7 or 8 laps before pit stops.
Well, Dean, you know, looking back at Wesley Holland again, he is on the back bumper of Kinsey, really just filling those mirrors. And Dean, is when you're in 2nd place, sometimes that's all you need to do for a few laps. Just fill the mirrors. Let that leader, let that guy in front of you make mistakes, because they're going to mirror drive, especially if they're not as experienced, not used to the pressure. Cody Kinsey hasn't led a lot of laps this year. Wesley Holland going to go to the high side, though, right against that wall.
He does. As Crownover comes down onto pit road, we stay with this battle. Almost contact. Kinsey looks like the one's got the high line that he wants. Will he drive right to the wall? I think he might.
Here comes Holland again. This is a good spot. Good spot for him to make this move. He's going to get a little bit of a run through here. This is difficult on the high side through this corner.
Wow, so tight. Great racing here. Kinsey trying to fend off Wesley Holland. Great job by the one rolling that top. He's got a big run coming off, and I think he's going to set sail down the back straight. He does.
Wesley Holland to the lead, Dean, and I know that feels good for Wesley, because his first race of the year that he came in at was at Circuit of the Americas. He won that race, and you know, you don't want to be known as the guy that's the road course guy or the ringer. Got to get out here and lead some laps on ovals, and good job by Wesley Holland getting back to the front.
I mean, he got that. You know, he came in. It was all we knew. He came in on the road course. We thought maybe he was just a road course ringer coming in to win that. He's proven us dead wrong there. He's a great racer all around. Legger comes on to pit road, currently shown in 8th while he's on pit road. And Legger's still having a nice run here. We'll see how he can finish tonight.
These guys working really hard, Dean, and this is kind of getting to that spot. I mean, you know, you kind of break this thing down. This is where I would start thinking, like, am I going to be able to make it to the end? Obviously not on this pit, or you know, on this pit stop. If I'm not, I'm going to short pit this thing. I would have already short pitted. I think that's what Crownover was doing. I think Crownover says, I'm not going to be able to save that gas. I'm coming down pit road, cover my losses at this point in time, because he did come down quite a bit earlier than anybody else so far.
Yeah, and I mean, that's exactly what you want to do. Let's look in on our pit board. If you're going to do it, commit to it, right? So Crownover showing to pit on lap 75. You got Legger on 77, Brown on 75. These guys all have foregone the 2-stopper and for a 3-stopper in our humble speculative opinion. But right now, these guys, you know, they're going to try and run it out here, Jared.
Yeah, I don't think they have any choice at this point, Dean. If you know, just to be honest, I think that they have to run it out. You know, if you're not coming down pit road now, you're pretty much sitting there looking at, can have to save some gas at some point, either this run or the last run.
So we're on lap 81 here. These guys got to make it to like 83, I would say would be the minimum. Kinsey chasing Holland. Holland starting to open up a bit of a gap, about 0.8, 0.9 seconds. Priest right there hanging on. Covington has kind of been making up a little bit of time on Priest anyway, under 3 seconds. Covington pulling in. He's headed to pit road.
Exactly right, Dean. He is heading down pit road, and maybe the strategy going to flip around here a little bit.
So be looking on Holland, our leader, and see what he does. Coming down, it's lap 82, approaching 83. This would be awful tight. I think you want to go one more if you can. Holland, no, he's coming in. What about Kinsey's in? Priest stays out. So Priest stays out. He's going to have the fuel he needs for certain. Banks stays out. He'll have the fuel. Bizzle, we'll see what he does along with Bessinger and Newbra and Hughes.
This is going to be interesting, very interesting. Jesse Priest is going to come in this lap, Dean.
All right, Newbra coming. No, he's staying out. So Bessinger in, or no, late entrance. Great job by Newbra on pit road. Most guys getting off the track too early. Newbra doing a nice job of staying on it a little longer.
Here comes Jason Hughes as well. Brandon Banks is coming in. Crownover will go by. He is a lap down, so he's going to get his lap back here. But now this is where the interesting part of this race goes, Dean.
Super interesting. Some of these guys may have to feather that throttle slightly. I doubt it, but it's possible. Bizzle out here, your new race leader at this point. So he's still on the track on lap 84. Banks on pit road. Priest is on pit road. Crownover has already pitted, but ooh, Gibson there almost gave him a fit. But Crownover out here moving up to second currently. Now he's probably got to stop again, I would imagine, pitting back on lap 75.
Yeah, I would think so, Dean. I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot of choice here, I would think. He's going to he could save it, but that's 50 laps. I just don't think that's going to be in the realm possible. So
Priest pitting one lap later. Covington gets by him. Kinsey went by. Holland went by. Not a whole lot. Bizzle's in, by the way, so Brian Bizzle does come in. It's Crownover now, your race leader. And what I like about this, Jared, you know, we always talk about strategies, different strategies. Now, the reason I love the short pit on this is, what are you going to finish? 7th, 6th, whatever. I mean, I wasn't paying that close attention, but you weren't going to win here tonight. Now, he has an actual shot at victory. A caution anywhere from now to the next 15, 20 laps, he's gold.
Yeah, and Dean, the other guy I like is the guy that stayed out the longest. That was Brian Bizzle. We know for a fact he can make it on fuel. He could be setting himself up for a great finish here tonight, especially since he has new tires here to end this race. So we got two guys kind of at the opposite end of the spectrum. So a 10-lap gap between these guys. Everybody else pitted pretty much on lap 80. So, I mean, this is going to be insane.
Yeah, and I mean, Priest as well, he did do one extra lap to our leaders, well, to our second, third, and fourth anyway. So Priest definitely in good shape. It's all very interesting, and dare I say something about it? I almost want to throw a banana on the track and shake this thing up.
I mean, we get a caution right now, Dean. I mean, I've seen it happen. I've seen races, and I know you've been a part of these races too, Dean, where they've gone caution-free until 15 laps to go, and then all of a sudden everybody just flips the switch in their brain, and it's a totally different race, Dean.
Happens all the time. Tends to happen with about 10 to go for some odd reason. It's just the way it is. But right now we look in on Kinsey battling with Holland. These guys are going at, or that was Holland and Newbraw out here. My apologies.
Now, Dean, we've got 6 cars kind of on that lead lap area, but Breeze, the fastest lap of the race on lap 87 right now, as he's working on Covington. 10 cars on the lead lap. Bizzle and Messenger, the next one's up there to be lapped.
Yeah, Priest, he's had the most speed here tonight. I think that's been evident. It's just a matter of, he might be burning him up a bit, / his setup might not be the best for long run as he swings under Covington, looking to take away 4th spot here.
Covington kind of just sitting there, not making it easy on him, but, he's kind of a sitting duck. At this point with those fresher tires, Priest goes around pretty easy. Yeah,
surprised he wasn't a little kinder there, made it a little easier, but still a relatively easy pass for Jesse Priest as a 0 machine. 04 on the board. He loves that 0, but iRacing will not allow you to have a 0, Jared.
I was going to say, that's the reason why our time scoring has a different number, because the pace car is car 0 in iRacing.
Well, there you go. You learn something new every day. I did not know that. I was trying to figure out why they would not allow a 0. Perhaps they shouldn't number the pace car, but maybe they have to.
Yeah, it's that's it sucks, but Pre's out there with the 0 machine in that TikTok car and looking very racy here tonight. I mean, what a job.
Now, Jared,
there's a lot of lap traffic up here.
I don't know if you ever looked in as we're watching Kinsey battle here with Holland. And there's a whole bunch of traffic. Man, this is crazy. I think we'll just stick with this. Oh, Kinsey almost into the 18 to Crownover.
Yeah, 3 wide for the lead there for a second as they dive off into turn 1. Holland to the high side, Kinsey to the low side. Crownover on old tires, not much he can do at this point.
Wow, what a battle here. Kinsey off, almost coming together there. They head down into 3 side by side.
Right in front of us, Michael Newbraw, the teammate to Cody Kinsey, scooting out ahead of this battle. And Kinsey's going to clear Holland off the corner and going to take that lead, Dean. And it looks like Holland's kind of got that long run car. We saw this last time. Holland wasn't really good out the gate. Kinsey was, and then they started the concertina effect kind of came back and brought Holland back to the front.
Well, dare I mention the fuel as well? Is there something going on? A little saving going on out of the one? I don't know. Priest coming up on him now. Covington, Holland darts down to the bottom there, almost like a block. Very interesting move, as I think he thought Priest was a little unkind to him earlier. So, I mean, it doesn't look like it was anything, but a little speculating once again, Jared.
There's Priest around Wesley Holland, so he is dropping back a little bit. And now Mark Canada, that lap car, kind of in a bad spot because he's kind of, on newer tires. He doesn't want to get involved in the race, but, he's kind of fast at the same time. So he does finally get out of the way, but not much he can do there. But Mark Canada doing a good job avoiding all that stuff going on. As we got 3 cars under a blanket, Dean. That's one thing I'll say for tonight. We've had battles for the lead from the drop of the green flag. It's been great.
Yeah, that's what you love. You love to see where it's not just one guy walking away with things here. There is a battle. We really couldn't tell you who's going to win this race. Kinsey's looked good all night. Priest looked good early on every run and good even on the long. Maybe not as good as Kinsey though. Holland kind of fades early, comes in late, and he was leading at the end of the last run. We're on 30 to go here. The one machine, and there's gas mileage. And here comes Hannah bothering Holland again. Hannah not doing anything wrong whatsoever, but Holland still, it still bugs you, Jared.
I think Holland, Dean, I think he let Hannah go. I mean, he was not in the throttle very much from what I could tell.
He's saving, I think.
I think he is saving, Dean. I think he is clutching a little bit into the corner.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he is.
So he is clutching a little bit. Priest pitted 1 lap later than Kinsey. Could Jesse Priest be in the driver's seat? Don't forget, Crownover's on a 2-stopper, and you had other guys who pitted at way later. I think Bizzle pitted later. Let's look at our pit board.
Yeah, Bizzle's the latest, and then Crownover and David E. Brown pitted on 75, so they're definitely on that 3-stop strategy.
Yeah, Covington, the one in the most trouble right now. He's pitted on lap 81. You got Holland on 82, Kinsey on 82, Priest on 83. So Crownover, Crownover's on 75. He's definitely stopping again. But Covington may be in the worst position of everybody here.
Yeah, Covington, he is gaining time on Holland, and I don't think that's because of setup or speed. I think it's because Holland is saving, and Covington, I don't think he's saving, and I think he's probably going to be out of gas. I mean, these guys that pitted on 81, they're going to have to make it 44 laps. We haven't seen anybody except Bizzle do that tonight, so this is going to be difficult, and I think, even Cody Kinsey could be in a little bit of trouble too.
Well, Kinsey's fading a bit, but, this has happened before. Priest has the fastest a short-run car here tonight, if you want to call it that, but also pitting on lap 83. He's probably got enough. Is this the big move? I mean, is this his night finally, Jared?
This is going to be crazy because, like we said, Jesse Priest led a 23 of 60 laps back at Auto Club, the second race of the year. Hasn't led only but 10 laps since then in the next, I think, 10 events. So, you're talking, this is a long time coming for Jesse Priest, definitely showing, leading more laps he's led all season long in one race by itself. But can he have enough fuel in the tank to get this thing done, or is he going to run out of gas? We got a lot of stuff going on, Dean.
Well, one guy who won't run out, that's Anthony Crownover. He's on pit road, so Crownover making that second stop or that third stop in the run. So Crownover is going to fall a lot. He'll be motoring around this track when he comes out, though, and we'll see how that plays out. Probably won't play out too great for him, but we'll see if some of these guys run out or really got to save. Priest, he's out here doing a great job. Hannah up there battling a lap down, trying to get that lap back, but unable to do so, and I don't think he's going to be able to maintain this speed much longer. Priest has been so good here tonight, but as I say that, Hannah right in there looking good.
Yeah, and here comes Wesley Holland on pit road, Dean. He has abandoned the strategy.
Wow, that is a shocker, because he was saving and decided, heck, I can't save enough. Enough of this. I'm coming in. I love the call, because if you can't make it, let's do it early. He's going to have 24 laps to make something happen.
Yeah, but now the whole, it's just kind of, I'm sitting here scratching my head. I'm like, Dean, why are you making this strategy? And he's taking tires. No, he's not. He's taking left sides only. Good call. So, or right sides only. So he took 2 tires and filled it up to the end. So that's smart. Take the 2 tires because it's going to cost you the same amount of time anyway. So good call by Wesley Holland. And interesting call. I don't know if it's a good call, but it's an interesting call.
Interesting is the way I'd describe it. It's a good call at this point. It just means that you made bad calls earlier on in the race.
Yeah, so, that's what I was getting at. I just don't know why they didn't stick to the 3-stopper from the beginning if they didn't think they were going to make it. So now you got to circle Crownover and Brian Bizzle. Crownover on that 3-stop 100% since the beginning. David E. Brown also coming down pit road. He's been on the 3-stop since the beginning. And what about Bizzle? He could be the guy in the catbird seat here.
Bizzle could be in the catbird seat. Priest looking like he could probably make it, though. Brown abandons. Covington abandons. They're both in. And, you know, this is all great for Crownover because Crownover made that call earlier on. That's the smarter move, Jared. I think Crownover is going to get, you know, a net gain out of all this. Probably move up in the top 5 by the end of this.
Yeah, Crownover and David E. Brown, both of them committed to that 3-stop strategy after the first pit stop. I mean, they both pitted earlier than everybody else on the first pit stop, although I think not early enough to when you commit to this thing. But, you know, David E. Brown down on pit road now. But now you got guys already kind of switching their strategy. And Wesley Holland, I think that was too late to call an audible, but he is in 7th place. So he is the first car 1 lap down.
You got to know when to say mercy, and maybe that's what he's done. But I'm going to hop on board with Cody Kinsey with me and just see what you see with him. I mean, I think he could be clutching here. I'm not sure.
Let's take a look here, Dean. I'm getting to that camera. We'll listen to it down the straightaway. Not clutching.
Not clutching. No, he's rolling out of it a lot, though. But
yeah, he is. He probably should be clutching if he's going to roll out that much. I mean, he's definitely waiting on that car a lot. But you're going to save a lot more fuel if you can turn the car off, and then second amount of fuel by clutching. And
Holland just blew by him like he's standing still on that fresh rubber. I mean, he's a lap behind him, but he is absolutely flying. Priest out here has got a 6-second lead. Kinsey fading, trying to save fuel, maybe unaware of, you know, not used to doing the clutching. Hard to say for sure. Brandon Banks in 3rd place. I mean, Jared, here we go again. Our points leader having an off night. Don't talk too much about him. We look up, here he is, 3rd place.
Brandon Banks is Dean, he's the type of driver we talk about all the time, right? He's a guy that has this thing planned out. He didn't win a race until a couple of weeks ago for the first time all year, but he's led the points since race 3, right? So, I mean, he has been a guy that's always been thinking long-term, and tonight, no different.
No different. He's got Covington coming underneath them with that fresh rubber, so Covington comes around. He's currently in 8th. It's Crownover in 7th. Both of those guys have pitted. Holland in 6th also has pitted. Bessinger is, you know, he went long, so I think, maybe I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, Bessinger did go, he's on 82, so somewhat long.
Well, yeah, I mean, he might be saving. I don't know. We'll see how it works out for Chad Bessinger here, as we're not sure, but we're pretty sure about Bizzle. Bizzle is up to 4th place, Jared, with this strategy, and it looks like, you know, depending on when guys, if they pit or not, Bizzle could be anywhere from 1st to 4th and no worse here tonight.
Yeah, I think Bizzle is the only one I'm confident in. He is the only guy that I'm confident that can make it to the end. I don't know about these other guys. I mean, I'm listening to Jesse Prees, and he's letting off quite a bit too. But again, not clutching, not turning the car off.
Well, let's have a listen in here as he rides behind Mark Hanna.
That engine's still running there.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty slow, but I mean, like, if you're not clutching, you're not saving, really. I mean, you could save about a half lap or something doing it this way, I think. And that's probably all Jesse needs, to be honest with you. He did pit 1 lap later than these guys, so Jesse out here leading. 6.5-second lead over Brandon Banks. Banks is closing, though.
Yeah, I would just feel a lot more confident in Jesse Prees' strategy if he was, turn the car off or clutching at least. So I don't know, but he has the numbers in front of him. We don't get to see that information as commentators. So it's going to be interesting. But you're right. I mean, Banks is kind of closing that gap up, but they did pit on the same lap. The guy that I would circle is Bizzle, but he is 24 seconds behind, Dean.
What happened to Holland? Did something go on with Holland? Or am I just missing something? It looked like Holland has fallen down the board a bit.
Yeah, Holland got passed by Crownover and Covington, so Dean, I'll try to get an update. But he did take those 2 tires. He did take just 2 tires. So.
Let's get a replay here on Crownover getting by him and see if we can see something. So you see Holland up in front here, And oh, a big wiggle, a second wiggle. Come off the corner, and it's not quite pointed right. Close to the wall. I mean, there's not a whole lot there.
Yeah, I don't see anything there, Dean, but I mean, that's the thing. I mean, he did take...
It's a two-tire thing.
Yeah, 2 tires, yeah.
I think that dearly cost him. I don't, I hate to bring it up, Jared, but you were praising that move. I was thinking to myself, I don't know. I mean, unless you practiced it and have the proper adjustments to go along with it, it's a risky move.
Yeah, there's some caveats there, right? I mean, it's a great move, but as long as X, Y, Z, W all have been done beforehand. So Holland, definitely dropping back now, but he has lost 2 positions. He's still a lap down. He's about to get his lap back.
I wish we could see these gauges, Jared. I don't know. Can we get in and see the gauges from the in-car? I don't think we can.
Unfortunately, we can't. It's all going to be negated there, so we don't know anything with these cars, unfortunately, Dean. We just hypothesize, which makes it a little bit fun because you guys out there in the audience get to kind of think about it the same way we are. So,
well, you can make it fun. You can make it scary because really, when you're getting a chance to get inside of my head, I don't know if you want to be in there.
No, that's a very, very good point, Dean. But in all seriousness, what a race we've had tonight, Dean. I mean, this has had everything. And now we're down to 10 to go at the line for Jesse Preece. Gap 6.5 seconds to his teammate Banks. And 17 to Cody Kinsey, 23 to Bizzle, 28 to Covington on that 3-stopper. So Bizzle, even though he's on that 2-stopper with the long strategy, he's not really making up time, Dean. He's almost a lap behind. So
Bizzle, sorry to interrupt, but he is killing Kinsey. So Kinsey is really doing something now. Let's hop on board with Kinsey again. See if he is now clutching, because he is fading. Still not clutching, but way off the throttle.
Yeah, he is. Got to turn that car off or clutch at this point in time. If you're letting off that much, I mean, he is losing 2 seconds a lap to Brian Bizzle, Dean.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's just unaware of the clutch thing, and it's something, if you haven't had to do it or you're not adept at it, I mean, I was been iRacing for years now and just recently started to develop the ability to clutch the car, and you talk about turning off the car, that's even another level. I don't even want to attempt, Jared.
Yeah, it's it takes a little bit of practice, but I mean, you definitely, in these fuel strategy races, you got to figure out a way to save as much as you possibly can at all points in time of the race. And Cody Kinsey dropping like a rock now. I mean, he's going to get caught by Bizzle. I mean, I wouldn't put it out of the realm possibility that even Covington or Bessinger could get around him.
It looks like Kinsey's picking it back up a bit, so he might have noticed that as well, or maybe he's listening, hard to say, but he's kind of stabilized to Bizzle, or maybe Bizzle has to save. Let's get another look in on Jesse Preece, and we'll hop on board with him and see what he's up to.
And just to finish up on that Cody Kinsey thing, Dean, he did gain half a second of Bizzle, so Bizzle may have switched up the strategy there. But, yeah. Dean, I'm still listening to Preece. I don't think he's turning it off, but we're at 5 to go at the line. So, I mean, at this point, you're stuck in your strategy. I'm not coming down pit road at this point.
Well, if I had to guess, I'd say he's confident at this stage. Doesn't look like he's holding back at all here. And a little loose in front of him. He's going to get a bit of a run here. But yeah, Preece in the driver's seat, doing just an awesome job. Can the Zero, the TikTok machine, get out here and get his first victory? And if he does, Jared, do I got to go look at his TikTok channel? Is he going to do a dance or something?
I don't know. What do they do on that? I think isn't that where you drink Hawaiian Punch on a skateboard, sing Fleetwood Mac?
I don't know what those darn kids are doing over there.
I don't know either, Dave. Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
But there goes Preece around Hannah.
Of course, Banks, not third, not fourth, not fifth, up to second place. This guy is amazing. Sitting here, I don't want to
gas.
I don't want to overpraise him, but Kinsey's
slow.
Kinsey
is really slow.
He is saving, and I don't think he's quite doing it the way that he's going to save enough. He's trying to slow that machine way down. Covington's got by Bizzle, so Covington on, I think, an extra stop.
Yeah, 3-stop strategy, Dean. Wow.
Amazing job by Dustin Covington committing to that strategy a little bit better than some, as did Crownover. Let's see how Crownover's progress is. Now let's look at Bizzle and we'll get in our delta, our time delta, and you can see from 5.9 down to 3.6. Bizzle is coming in a hurry.
Yeah, this is amazing. Because Kinsey, there's Kinsey right there. I mean, Covington is there. I mean, Kinsey could lose 2 spots or more at this point.
Yeah, Kinsey's in a world of
2 to
hurt
go.
trying to save this fuel. 2 to go. Jesse Priest out front thinking this race through. Apparently enough fuel to finish here. He's coming down the backstretch trying to get to the white flag on 1 to go to get his first win here. Going to be an amazing thing. Behind him, Kinsey and Covington are together and Bizzle closing, but I think Kinsey finally speeding up here.
That's white flag for Jesse Priest. And if he's able to hold on, that's going to give JD Motorsports 4 of their 5 drivers, Dean, a win on the year. Michael Newbraw, the only one that hasn't grabbed victory lane, and Priest can hold on going down the back straightaway.
We hop on board just in case we hear any sputtering out here. Here comes the 0 of Jesse Priest through 3, through 4. Everything looks good for him. Jesse Priest going to win the Charlotte 125. Awesome job by the 0 machine. Brandon Banks, your points leader, comes out of nowhere, so we think, because he thought this race through, comes in second. Kinsey now battling with Covington for 3rd place.
And Covington looking, but he's not going to get there. Kinsey is going to hold him off at the line. He saved enough, Dean. He saved enough.
He made it work. Bizzle comes across the line in 5th. A great job by Brian Bizzle as well. Crownover committed early, did what he could, ends up +5 on the night, up to 6th. Holland, apparently not too happy, slams that car into the wall. He'll come home in 7th. Bessinger 8th. David E. Brown, looks like he's in a bit of a mess too, and he's in 9th. Legger 10th. Newbraw 11th. Those are your lead lap cars. Hughes, Hanna, Schaefer, Gibson, Paul, and Lamb round out the field.
Yeah, what a race. I mean, and, also shout out to, at the beginning of this race, Eric Schaefer was leading this race and got disconnected. So, or 2nd place, I think, maybe. So we don't even know what this race would have turned out to be if Schaefer was involved in this thing. But what a job by Jesse Priest being there at the end, getting his first win of the year, Dean.
I'm so happy for him. It looks like Schaefer's happy for him. Schaefer stuck around. Give Schaefer credit running this race out. I love it. The 0 machine, though, it's all about him. Jesse Priest, the race winner, doing some burnouts. Couldn't be happier. We're very happy for him right now. Let's take a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll get interviews with our top 3 finishers. Welcome back to Charlotte, where we're admiring that 0, the TikTok machine of Jesse Priest, as he took home his first victory tonight, playing that strategy perfectly. He's able to run that fast car good and hard on that last run, had a little more fuel than some, takes home this victory. Jared, another great race here at Kickin Assphalt.
Yeah, Dean, I mean, let's talk about that race. I mean, what a job by Jesse Priest tonight. grabbing his first win of the year. And, you know, Dean, we talked about led 23 laps at Auto Club, hadn't led hardly any laps, just 10 laps since that time. Race 2, for race 3, all the way to race 15, 10 laps, and tonight he led 53 to grab his first win. What a job by Jesse Preece.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much more we can say. It was just awesome from him tonight. Another guy who had awesome parts of the race tonight. That's our third place finisher, the 15, Cody Kinsey. Perhaps having a little bit of fuel mileage concerns at the end cost him, but Cody, a solid finish, third place. Congrats.
Thank you, man.
So
yeah, I think the last 15, 20 or 20 laps, I think I saved a little too much, and I had 0.4 coming across the line. It was definitely close.
Well, it's definitely close. That's when it'll start to sputter. But talk a little bit about the saving. Now, we were speculating, because that's what we like to do up here in the booth, on, your saving. You're not clutching out there, interestingly. Did you not feel comfortable clutching? Was it not something that was necessary? Or, just talk a little.
To be honest with you, I don't have the clutch on.
10-4. So that's the reason why. But you did a great job making that car, making the right decision, and decided to run at the end just enough to hold that third spot. I thought that was a really good call on your part. Talk a little bit about the early parts of the race. So you guys are out here running, and you and Preece are changing up spots, and then Holland kind of catches you too. Just talk a little bit about some of those battles.
Yeah, I was worried about Holland when he got to the outside of me. I didn't want that to happen, but it worked out in the long run. Yeah, that first stop, the first stint, I'm sorry, that felt really good, and I saved. I think I had 70 on the right front, 68 on the right rear. I tried to do that on the second run, burn them up a little bit, trying to get back to Wesley, and it worked out in the end.
Yeah, it was an interesting race. So much going on out there. You guys working, your team doing a great job. I'm sure you got to be ecstatic for Jesse grabbing his first win on the season. Now, talk a little bit just about this team and working together and just how important it is.
It's a good group, man. Our little Drinker Bros group. A lot of good people in there that you can trust, and they say something 9 times out of 10 they're going to do it.
Well, that's what you want from people. I mean, you want that ability to be able to trust in what the people do and what the people say. And you guys got one of the greatest groups out here, and it's just fantastic to see. When we look forward now to the next race, that's going to be at Mid-Ohio. How you feeling about that? A little road race in action here.
That's a little questionable. I'm not too good on the road. I can hold my own. But it will be interesting.
All right. Well, Cody, another solid evening for you. Congrats on third place here this evening. And if you want any shout outs, you want to thank anybody, now's the time.
Yeah, thank you, man. You guys for calling this. Marshall and Kickin Assphalt for putting the league on. Paul, of course, for the setups. He does an outstanding job.
All right, Jared, that's Cody Kinsey. Really good here this evening. Fuel mileage might have bit him a bit, but he comes home in third place.
Yeah, led 37 laps en route to that third place finish. But, Dean, I'm sitting down here with the guy that's leading the points, Brandon Banks. Congratulations on your runner-up finish tonight, bud.
You guys appreciate it.
Yeah, so let's talk about your race. You kind of went to the front early on in this race. I mean, you qualified third. You led some laps, led 4 laps, got those bonus points out of the way early. But then you kind of dropped back. You dropped all the way back to 6th place. Kind of looked like the car was maybe not what you wanted. But there you are at the end of the race, just kind of sneaking your way to 2nd spot out of nowhere.
Yeah, at the beginning of the race, it was good. I think maybe I burned up my stuff a little bit too much there, trying to race with Covington there for the lead, and didn't realize the rears were going to fall off quite as bad as they did. So I kind of got back a little bit in traffic there, and then I kind of felt that this was going to be, if we could go green, it was going to be kind of like Texas last week. So the second run, I kind of laid back a little bit and just tried to conserve tires and gas. I knew we needed to get to around 83 on that last pit stop to have a chance there. and we got there, and I think a couple of the other guys pitted a couple laps earlier, and I knew if we could just get there, I figured we could get to the end of the race, and there was going to be a lot of people pitting in front of us, so I was kind of expecting a caution there at the end, but we got lucky there and pulled out second.
Yeah, I mean, you guys did a great job as usual. I mean, this is a podium sweep again for JD Motorsports, and you're leading the points by 32 over Eric Schaefer. Now, he had some issues tonight with his connection. Unfortunately, didn't really get a chance to show what he had tonight. But, Brandon, this team, unbelievable. I mean, you guys have come in here, done a great job, and not just here, but other places as well, really showing your might all over across the iRacing board.
Yeah, these guys, these are great guys. Schaefer, like I said, it's unfortunate from him. You'd think he would have had a really good car tonight too. He usually runs really well here. But yeah, these guys, man, they're good. They come in and they put the practice time in, and they're good bunch of guys to run with. Like I said, we race every day with each other, and we kind of know how each other runs and gives each other space, and that makes a big difference when you're out here.
Yeah, it does. You guys race great and put on a great show tonight. But, you know, Brandon, looking ahead, we're heading into a kind of a gauntlet stretch where we have Mid-Ohio, Nashville Superspeedway, and Road America. How are you feeling leading the points heading to those next 3 events?
Glad I got a lead. I'm saying that I'm road courses. I'm kind of a mediocre kind of driver, so I think I'll be okay at Nashville. I think I can run pretty decent there. But the other two, I'm just gonna try to hold on and survive. To be honest with you, just never been a good road course racer. I'm always kind of a maybe top 8 kind of guy. I've never really got the speed to be up front and race. Wesley's gonna be really tough there. A couple of those other guys are really good road course races, so. Kind of fortunate we got a little bit of a lead there, so that'd be kind of good going into those races.
Well, Brandon, always a pleasure to talk to you, bud. Congratulations on your second place again tonight and your 32-point unofficial point lead. I'm going to turn the mic over to you and let you have the last word on your race.
I just appreciate my team, JD Motorsports, Jesse, Cody, Michael Newbraw, Eric Schaefer, a great bunch of guys. Appreciate you guys for doing what you do every single week, and him, Marshall, for putting this on, and just enjoy racing here.
All right, Dean, that's our point leader and runner-up, Brandon T. Banks. And I believe you're down in victory lane with first-time winner, Jesse Prees.
Yes, sir. The TikTok machine, the zero. Here in victory lane, it's Jesse Prees. What a night. Congratulations, man, on your first victory.
Thanks, guys. That was a lot of fun.
Man, it was a lot of fun to call to and watch. We're so happy for you up here. And I want to get it out that we're expecting a little dance over on TikTok or something, but we'll get into that some other time. Nonetheless, Jesse, what a move. So you do one extra lap on that second stop. And that seems to be what allows you to drive that car mostly full on the last run and kind of get away from these guys.
Yeah, I was a little shocked that the others pit. The first pit stop, I couldn't believe some of the guys stopped a little early, and then I got one more lap in me on this second stint. Then I won't have to conserve as much as some of the other guys will, and it paid off. But I know Wesley got in the wall. I hated to see that. It kind of feels like a cheap win. Him out, and Schaefer blinked out early, and Cody had to save a little too much there. Feel bad for all them guys, but feels good being here once.
Yeah, it certainly does. And you put all that right out of your mind. None of them are cheap. You outthought them, you outplayed them, and you were driving great. You had a great car tonight, and you really earned this one, Jesse. So savor it, man. Congratulations again. But, when we think about this race, early on, we've seen you guys, this great JD Motorsports team out here. We've seen you and Kinsey, going back and forth a little bit. Was there some of it purposeful? Was some of it accidental? Or were you guys just racing each other hard?
I think I was running a little too hard at the beginning of each run, and he was a little better later in the run, and we were just kind of up here sharing the wealth.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's what teammates do, and you need teammates out here. We look ahead now, a couple of road tracks coming up. How are you feeling about that? And what's JD's Motorsports thinking in general?
Well, Schaefer, Banks, and Cody will be pretty good, but you won't see me in the podium in any of these road tracks. I'll about guarantee you that.
Well, we'll try and get you to keep that thing clean and probably get a top 10 just by doing that, Jesse. But this is your night, man. This is your first victory. So happy for you. Congratulations once again, man. Anybody you want to thank, any shout outs you want to give, now's the time.
Yeah, appreciate you guys up there in the booth. You guys do a heck of a broadcast, and Dean, racing with you in the other league too. It's been a lot of fun, and got to stay with these B cars so I can continue to get better in them again. And thank my daughter for cheering me on. Caden's always back here cheering for me. My JD Motorsports and Drinking Bros guys, all a lot of fun to race with. Thanks, Marshall, for putting this on, and a lot of good drivers up front here, man. A lot of fun to race with.
Yes, sir, there is. Jared Jesse Praise victorious here tonight against, like he said, a lot of great drivers, man.
Yeah, I mean, what a race. I mean, we had 14 lead changes in this thing, Dean. Wesley Hahn led, Covington led, Schaefer led, Banks led, Kinsey led, Jesse led, obviously, there at the end, led most of this race. I mean, Bizzle led, Crownover led. I mean, pretty much everybody out there got some laps out front. I mean, really, you look at it, Dean, the top 7 all led at least one lap here tonight. So, I mean, what a job. And race, we had stuff to talk about all race long, different strategies, comers and goers. You know, what was going to happen there at the end. I mean, what a race. Just a great job by these guys.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome when you get this kind of competition that are really close-knit out here and they can fight like this. It's been a lot of fun to cover this, and especially tonight. What a race out here. We look in the updated points, totally unofficial, everybody, so don't take it to heart. But it looks like David E. Brown picked up a couple of spots, as did Hannah and Holland. Down is Paul a couple of spots. Kudstritza and Leighton not here tonight, but the top 4 still JD Motorsports and Banks, man. Another second place finish, seemingly out of nowhere. Reality, probably a little different than that. He just kind of thought out the race a little bit better. Schaefer with some struggles sits in third, now quite a bit back. And Kinsey with a strong night stays in fourth. All in all, Jared, a great night, great league. We look forward to these and these road courses coming up. I mean, it's going to shake things up here a little bit.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's where everybody's going to have to be on their toes. There's an opportunity to gain some spots in the points. And as I tell everybody that, you know, they talk about, oh, I don't know, I don't like road courses. Just focus on keeping it on the track, and you're going to come out there with a great finish, Dean. So excited to see what's going to happen in Mid-Ohio next week.
Me too, and we're going to have all that coverage. Of course, we cover it every Friday, 9:30 p.m., the Kickin Assphalt Xfinity Series right here on Wind Tunnel TV. Come and check us out. But for myself, Dean Doucette, for Mr. Jared Carr, it's going to wrap it up here from Charlotte Motor Speedway, and we'll see you next time on Wind Tunnel TV.